My name is Alex Kotushin, CEO here at Sales Boomerang, and we are talking about integrated partnerships, right? How to create data-driven harmony between realtors and lenders. And with me, I have Paul Harrington from Usherpa right there, and then Stephen Barton from Eustis. If you've heard his name many times before, and what he is going to share with you today, this is really about looking at what an integrated relationship can look like between realtors and lenders. And Stephen and his team, with the resources and the tech stack that he has perfected it. The numbers are astounding. As a matter of fact, why don't we give you guys a little bit of a teaser? This is something we're going to unpack throughout this conversation. Stephen and his team, in the first 3 quarters of using this automated solution, they generated $50 million in additional purchase volume for their realtors and obviously themselves. It's beautiful. Okay, we're going to talk about how they did that, exactly how it all works in just a moment. So keep listening. Keep putting things into chat. Remember your questions, write them down, put them in the Q&A or put them right in chat as we keep going through here. And remember, the questions can be for all three of us. This isn't just an Alex and Paul talk technology. You can ask Stephen a lot of questions here. He is the expert at this, at bringing realtors and lenders together, him and his team together. So make sure you ask him those questions as well. Quick introductions, though, about who we are, why you're here, if you haven't heard of us. Sales Boomerang is a borrower intelligence company that tells lenders when someone in their database is ready for a loan and what loan they're ready for right now. And we always make sure that they're in the best loan possible for them. And so we have been talked about recently as being a utility, right? It's just like having running water or electric in your home or in your business. For the mortgage and banking industry, Sales Boomerang is that utility, showing some incredible results with an average of 24x ROI in investment. Just so you guys understand why we're putting this together with Paul, you'll understand in just a minute. We're going to tie it together for you guys. But what's important to know for everyone in the industry on the realtor side, I know we have a bunch of realtors on the call today, and on the lending side, I know there's a bunch of lenders as well. There's 11 mortgage-related transactions for a consumer. That's the average, right? So from the first purchase you can see there in 2010 to the last reverse or the last home you might sell, about 11 transactions. And you can see the highlights. Why do we highlight the 5 you see highlighted there? Because those are purchase opportunities. And you're going to very quickly understand why it's so important to have access to relevant, timely data shared between the two of you, the two groups, so that you can take full advantage of all of these 11 and be there for your customer. And one of my favorite quotes, and I love to add it here, is from Steve Grossman. He says, "Our job starts from the day we close the loan." That is so key. That is what great lenders, that is what great organizations think like. And Stephen is the exact same way, and Eustace is thinking the exact same thing. So remember, 11 mortgage-related transactions. You want all of them. So what is it that Sales Boomerang, what do we do for our clients? Some of the results you can see on top. The top section is for the lender, right? This is important. Retention rates start to skyrocket, right? Reaching things as high as 85%. So going from the 15% average in the industry, getting up to 85%. And just so you know, our mission as a company is 100%, that every customer in your database wants to do their next loan with you, right? They want to do that. So you can see some of the stats up there. You can see those. I do want to focus on the ones below for just a minute because that's beneficial and relevant for both lender and realtor. When your database, when you have all of these notifications turned on, all of these insights, these signals about your customers turned on, look at the stat. When all of these are on, it can produce 13.5% alert rate every month. That means 13% of your database, 13.5% of your database is actively doing something or has an opportunity to do something better for their mortgage, right? Or for their home. That's over 160% a year. Think about that. That means more than your entire database will have an event every single year. And now you can have access to it. And as a realtor, partnering with groups like Eustis, you now have access to all of that too. That's why you want to be a partner. You're going to see something really cool coming up about power couples. Pay close attention to that. Okay, so this is the power of Sales Boomerang and what we're doing for the industry and what the lenders are now offering as partnerships for their realtor partners, which is what we're going to get into as we move forward. And what happens when you partner with someone that can give you those sorts of insights, realtors? You can double your volume in the first 12 months. That's an easy thing to do. easy to do when you partner with someone that gives you those insights on your database. It is remarkable. Going from 12 to 24 plus is a normal situation when you partner with someone that's got Sales Boomerang running and has an automated system like Usherpa, delivering those things for you automatically. So you'll see that in just a minute. So pay close attention, and let me hand it off to Paul. Talk about Usherpa.
Yeah, thanks. So Usherpa is a partner with Sales Boomerang. We are the mechanism, the tech stack that's going to help lenders automate the whole process of the intelligence to their realtor partners, to themselves, making sure that they're aware of what's going on with the borrower at any point in time because of the intelligence coming from Sales Boomerang. And you see here in this picture, we're taking care of all that automation. We're making sure you're alerted. You're making sure the realtor's alerted. We're making sure that there's automated marketing going out to the borrower to make sure that they're aware of what's going on for their individual situations. And the lender does not have to do anything in regards to this. So the data is coming in and we are dispersing it everywhere so that everyone is on the same page about what's going on in every single transaction that could be happening with everybody. So we're trying to make sure that everything, we're not making lenders' jobs more complicated. We're making them easier with way more intelligence so that everyone in the transaction, whether it be the real estate agent, the borrower, or the lender, everyone's winning because everyone's going towards the same thing with the automation of our system. And what we're trying to do is we're really trying to create an infinity loop of referrals from the loan officer to the realtor. So with ideas that we've got from Stephen and from Eustis and from other clients, we've been able to figure out how we're changing the dynamic, which Steve is going to get into primarily towards the end of this, but changing the dynamic of what the loan officer and realtor relationship is and making it so that it's not just a realtor giving a deal to the lender. It's actually using the data intelligence from Sales Boomerang and automating it through Sherpa that's going to alert the realtor of any of those events that are happening. It's going to make a two-way referral. So if it happens to be a purchase transaction, well, everybody wins in that scenario. Then automated marketing will happen, which creates a lifetime long client between everybody, and it creates this whole pipeline of referrals that are coming back and forth between lenders and realtors. So it's a really, really automated and cool system to make sure that you are actually giving referrals as a lender to a realtor and getting those referrals back from them as well.
So this is where we want to bring in Stephen. We're going to talk about some stats, some statistics of the success that he's experienced and his team has experienced. And he's going to dive into some of this. And then we're going to literally put him on the hot seat and we're going to ask him questions about this. And so please, this is where you guys get involved. This is like one of those interactive magic shows, right? Where the audience has to participate. So participate. This is where Stephen is great at answering questions that you throw out at him. Because if you've ever met Stephen, he speaks from the heart. And so let's talk about some of the success rates, and then Stephen can jump in and talk about some of these things as we show them off. Number one, we mentioned this already, but in the first 3 quarters of this really being live, he had it going and working earlier, but they were tweaking. But since it's in its current state, this is what they've experienced. They've tracked $50 million in additional purchase volume from the referrals that go back to the realtor. So real quick, before we get Stephen to jump in, let me explain to you what's going on. Okay. As a matter of fact, let me stop. Stephen, you explain what's going on. How does the program work so people can understand?
Well, I mean, I think all of us on this call have always been looking for a way to switch this sales cycle that we're stuck in with the agents always being able to control the relationship for the most part and can leave you at the drop of a hat. And so when we really analyzed where the business was at, and obviously in conjunction with meeting Alex and Paul, put together the first time that I've seen, and I think it's starting to come around more and more, is the ability to actually create a true partnership that's reciprocal and not based on your last transaction. So for us, if you look at what we're able to do, and that 50 million is pretty strong, that is stuff that's coming from our database, from Sales Boomerang, that we're now giving to our agents that are participating with us in the second part of what we're going to show you guys in a second. And so this is the most volume this year that I've ever given out to my agents across the company. And when we do this, it allows us to say it's a true partnership, and they can't leave us now because we're like the drug, they're hooked. So it really has changed the game for us.
So what Stephen is saying is, when with the partnership, the realtor is sharing their database with Eustis so that you guys can look at both of your databases together in tandem and approach the customer together. And so since that's happened, again, the numbers are right there. 17 extra deals a month on average with zero extra costs going to Eustis or to the realtor, right? Steven is already paying for these programs from Sales Boomerang and Usherpa. He's just made it multi-purpose, right? He's utilized it more than one way. And so here's the cool part. Since this program's been running, Steven and the Eustis team has been able to refer $150 million worth of business to his partners. They've converted about 30% of it, but $150 million has gone out. That's an additional $16.6 million in additional volume per month for his team and for the realtor partners, which also equals, if we do the math properly, using average loan amounts right now, we're not going to get real specific here, but average loan amounts, 465 referrals that Eustis has given to its partners. And this is why Steven has said this quote. He mentioned it just a second ago, but I'll put it back up on screen, that this is the first time ever that we, meaning Steven, the lender, can say that we are referring more business to our realtors than they are giving to us. So what is an integrated relationship? Steven, what's an integrated relationship?
Well, it's where everything symbiotically coexists together for one common purpose. Is that complicated enough? I read up some of those words on my word of the day toilet paper. An integrated relationship really comes down to the first time ever where you're not always worried about breaking up or being broken up with. You're truly, when you have meetings now, it's about how you're growing the partnership and how you're doing things together, because you're showing a true value. I mean, I tell all of our loan officers, if you walk into a realtor meeting, if you talk about rates, service, or products, you're fired, because that's what everybody else is doing. We sit down and say, do you want to change the way business is done and make your business kind of proofed against Zillow and Amazon.com and Realology and all these people that are coming for you? Well, we've got a platform that controls the data, and data controls the future.
Beautifully said. And so let me give you guys an analogy, everyone that's listening, about integration. And everyone's heard about this, but let's just kind of close this loop on integration for a minute. Imagine for a moment all of these things you subscribe to every single day, the Netflixes, the Hulus, the Disney Pluses, the Primes. Imagine they weren't integrated with your phone, your computer, or your cable company. Imagine you had to buy a physical device to put in your house to take advantage of Netflix and Hulu and Disney. That's what it would feel like when things were not integrated, right? So we know integration works in technology, and Steven has proven that it works in relationships too. If you integrate your relationship and you work with a common goal together, it's not you're a realtor, I'm a lender, you tell me when you're done, I'll tell you when I'm done. That's not integrated. That is working separately and meeting somewhere in the middle because it's as I've heard people say, necessary evil. No, that's not how Steven looks at it. That's not how people that work with Steven look at it. An integrated relationship is you're in it together. And Steven is going to share some stories of what he's done with those partners that don't want to be integrated, that just want to get things from Steven, that just want Steven and his team to work, and they don't want to be part of this relationship. Steven will tell you some stories where now they're able to cut it off, right? But what we're talking about, a great integration is a power couple. Okay. A great integration is a power couple. You want to be a power couple with your realtor. Realtors, you want to be power couples with your lenders. Look at this. Jordan, Pippin, do you not want to be on their team? Of course you do. You know they're going to win together. You know these two? You want to be on their team? Of course you do. Power couple. You want to be on their team? Kansas City, shout out. We saw Kansas City earlier.
Yeah.
I didn't see any Tampa Bay, but big shout out to Kansas City. You guys can keep chatting it up. Don't be afraid to use the chat section. We're talking about, this is the power couples we're talking about. This is what you can become. This is what Steven and his team have perfected, which is why he's on today, which is why you should be asking him lots of questions. Do not be shy. When we hang up, it's going to be hard to get on the phone with him because he's busy. I've tried for 3 weeks to literally get on the phone with him, and he apologized to me yesterday. He's like, I feel so bad. I feel like I'm being a bad friend. I said, I still love you, Steven. But you want to find out how they're doing this. So, Steven, this is so important. Tell us 2 things. How do you qualify a realtor? And then tell us a couple stories where you've already had to go in, and you told me one last night, which I loved. And you had to say, look, this is not a relationship. This is one way. You seem to be using us, but you don't want to be part of this culture. We have to let you go. And the response you got from your realtor. So 2 things. How do you qualify? And then tell us that cool story.
So, I mean, a couple things. One, there are several services out there, and you can simply Google them, but I have all my loan officers use the service to verify the real estate agent's production for the prior 12 months before we go sit down. So that's one of the requirements that that we look at. The second is when you're talking to them, you've got to have in the back of your brain at all times kind of what your core values are for your business with your real estate agents, and making sure that you're asking questions not about, like I said, programs and products, but more importantly about how they transact their business. Because today nobody's ever going to really remember if you gave them a great rate. They're really not going to remember if you closed on time. You're really only going to remember how someone made you feel. So we want to make sure we line up with real estate agents that do what we do, and making sure we cement ourselves in the customer's hearts during the process. And secondly, there's a really easy question you could ask to end your meeting too, really quickly. Do you have a database? If they say no, you just pay the check and you walk away.
All right.
Do you have a database? We need to write that in the chat. That's the one to remember. That's a great one. And so tell us this, tell everyone the story you told me yesterday about how you've been sending these referrals to a realtor that's a big producer, and how he treated you guys.
And so we'd never worked with this agent before, but I got referred to him by my brother. And so we sat down and kind of went through our platform. And like I said, when we sit down, we have a whole technological platform that we give to the agents. And so he was like, man, this is progressive. And we'd never done business with him. He's the top Caldwell Banker agent in the state of Texas. And he said, all right, let's give it a try. It started off really good. Got a couple deals, closed them really fast. Everything was working well. We got his database uploaded. He signed up for Usherpa, which, by the way, it does cost the realtor $10 a month for compliance. We have to do that. So they do have to, what I say, you have to give up Starbucks twice a month to be able to close 15 more deals a year. And so we put it in, and immediately within about 2 weeks, the alerts started happening on his database. And it's like detailed alerts. So what we do is we walk them through the process. And then for the first month, we stay on the alerts with them, to where we were asking them, have you called this person? And inside of Sherpa, they can refer the lead back to us, which is really cool, because the realtor have their own login and their own view. And when they're ready for mortgage, the realtor can click ready for mortgage, and it notifies us to call. It's really awesome, something that Paul and his team built for us. And now it's available for everybody that signs up with the best CRM in the nation.
Hey, buddy.
And so we saw that start working, and he was like, this is incredible. I cannot believe this. He's like, this is my neighbor, and they got their mortgage credit pulled, and they were going to sell their house, and he was able to call them and get the listing. He didn't even know they were looking to move. But because they got a mortgage alert, he was able to call them and ask them what was going on. But after 6 months, I looked up and I asked our Michael Fouché, hey, with Lee Lamont, I haven't seen any loans come in or leads come in. And we try to do quarterly meetings with our agents. And so I just called Lee and I said, hey, here's the quarterly numbers. I mean, we've sent you, I think at that time I was like 68 alerts. And we have gotten a lead in 90 days. And I said, and remember when we sat down, because we do this in the presentation, we say, this is a true partnership where we are linked together, and you don't have to do any of the stuff we offer. You can do it all. But if you do it, we're your guy. We're your ride or die, right? Mm-hmm. And he said, no, I know. I've just been busy. I said, I right now can look on the Caldwell Banker page and see that you were the #1 producer the last 3 months. We got 0 deals. That is not a true partnership to me. So I'm just going to go ahead and turn off Usherpa and the alerts. You got your database. We don't have it. We're not going to market to them, because you can shut it off, and we can just call it a day. It's totally cool. He literally said, do not turn me off. Whatever you do not turn me off. I will send you 3 buyers right now that will close in the next 30 days. And we did.
I love it.
It's taken that relationship power to where it's not like the power's the wrong word. It's balance, right? Now there's balance in the force to where everybody sees one way. And if you don't, it's totally cool. We fired 5 realtors last month off of the program, because they just said, look, I don't like the loan officer. I don't want to do business. I'm going to keep my guy. And I said, great, you're off. And I just shut it off.
Right.
And it's okay, because we're not going to work with everybody. We get it. But the ones who are all in, they are getting tons of business from this program.
I love that. I love that story so much, because it is truly a partnership. We've heard it time and time again that it feels one way, and you have a situation where somebody feels like they're taking advantage, and then here you are presenting this great opportunity, and you're able to say from the bottom of your heart, because I know how you are and how your entire company operates, is that, look, if you're not part of our culture, if you're not part of the strategy of how we're going to grow together, then this is not a great fit. And so it's important that there is that balance, just like you said, balance in the
and how funny is it that's a conversation that Steven actually gets to have with the real estate agent. You know, like it's changing the referral process, right? It's normally I mean, for lack of a better word, you're kind of begging for the next deal from a realtor, and instead you're actually combining forces and getting culturally together and only working with the people that fit your culture. Whereas, I mean, that's not normally the case with lenders. With realtors, it's like anybody possible that they can get a deal from, that's what they want to do. Changing that referral process, like Steven's going to talk about right now, is just game changing, really.
The truth is, Paul, this is the way of this industry of the future. It's a complete look. You're seeing companies open up as mortgage and real estate in one office, right? Why do they do that? Because they want to keep it as one strategic relationship, as one strategic process. Well, there's so many people that have already been mortgage companies and mortgage lenders and banks that don't want to try to stand up a real estate side, right? And so this is the future. This is the integrated future that needs to happen. And it's thanks to people like you and Steven and Sales Boomerang that can bring that to life and show this path, right? Our purpose of this presentation is to show everyone that this is possible. Like this is what you can be focusing on. And guess who the beneficiary of this all? This is all for the consumer. But of course, the consumer's happy, you as the lender and you as the realtor are happy. So I almost feel like this is a redundant question. How have you changed the referral process? Well, you kind of answered it. You're referring more business than they're referring to you, but you are keeping the relationship healthy. Is there anything else you changed in the referral process, Steven?
Well, the second part of this, when you integrate your agents into your Sherpa, and just so everybody knows, you know, I know Alex says we perfected it. We're still working on a daily to make it better. But as of this year, we have 90,000 records from our real estate agents of their databases uploaded in our 90,000. I mean, that's a ridiculously dumb number that we didn't have a year before. But the biggest stride we made in the last 90 days is the refinance referrals from our agents. Now we are actually getting 5 to 10 refinance referrals from our agents' databases because we showed them how to use the system. And if it's a refinance, they put the note in the system, send it back to us, and it tells us, hey, it's from this agent, it's a refinance. And then what we're doing when we get that refinance in, we talk to the agent and say, do we want to do any Zillow marketing? Is there anything we can help you with for extra marketing on your side that we can be a part of it? So it's allowing us to come back. We're not just taking when they get a refinance referral to us. We're actually repurposing some of that money back into more growth for their business.
It's beautiful. It's beautiful. And look, here's a little insight for everyone to take a note on. It is so important that when you get any notification from Sales Boomerang and there's a realtor attached to a file, that the first person you contact is not the borrower, but the realtor.
Right.
And you're thinking, what? Why would we do that? Here's why you do that. Because two familiar voices work better than one. And you have two interested parties looking to help one person, and it just feels good for the consumer. So take this note. If there's a tidbit you're going to take, no matter what, if you're going to go and if you're a realtor looking to work with a great mortgage company, you're going to be reaching out to Steven, just know that's what you're going to get. But if you're not, and you're thinking for yourself how to change your realtor relationships, always contact your realtor first. Anytime you have even a call, even if it's not from Sales Boomerang, even if a client calls you, but it was a referral from a realtor from 3 years ago, and that realtor is still in business, you pick up the phone, you call them first. You say, hey, I got your client. We're doing a refi, but I just want to let you know I'm doing a refi for your client, and we're keeping them in the family. So important. So this is key, right? Now that you rolled out this program, are you seeing a greater sense of loyalty from your realtor partners?
Yeah, for sure. And the conversations, I'll give you for instance, we messed up alone, right? We're not perfect. We screwed up. And usually when that happens, you're worried about the realtor leaving you or firing you. And in this case, I was able to call the agent, tell them what I was able to do and how we're going to fix it. And, you know, it made the conversation easier because we had this program in place. I can say, you know, we've sent you 16 leads this year already, right? And so I really am sorry, but the good news is the relationship's still working. We're able to work through those things a lot easier when they're in the program because they see the value of the ad that we bring.
Fantastic. And by the way, for all of you watching this, isn't this the most amazing thing? I feel like we're hanging out with Steven, and we're his like 5-year-old kid holding his hand, looking up at him as we walk to the car.
Beautiful day there in Dallas,
Beautiful day in Dallas. So listen,
that actually, you know, it's funny about that, Alex. For us, that literally is our view of Steven because we're so short. We
this
literally
is
look
true.
up to him exactly like that.
This is true. You're right. I said a child because not everyone on the call has met us, Paul. They don't
Yeah,
know
exactly.
that's exactly our view. So look, remember, we wanted to make this conversational. You just heard from Paul talk about how everything gets automated, and it's talking about bringing all of these opportunities and distributing properly to your LOs and your realtors and making the conversation simple. You heard Steven say, look, when we send a referral to our realtor, they can push it back to us. We get refi referrals back from our own realtors, which doesn't really happen, right? So you heard from Sales Boomerang, the type of opportunities, over 160% of your entire database, if you have all of those insights running, will have an event every single year. That's more than doubling the events from your existing database, right? Outside of all the things you're getting. So, and you heard Steven's strategies. So look, we're about to talk, right? This is time to talk. Throw out some questions. What do you want to know from Steven? What do you want to know from Paul? What do you want to know from me? Throw them out there. Don't be scared. We're all here right now. You're not going to get all three of us together again for a little while where you can ask these questions. So if you have questions, throw them out there. Let's get to talking. And I'm going to stop sharing the screen so you can see our faces as we talk. Here we go. All right. So let's see. Does this work for mortgage brokers as well as lenders? So let me answer this. So the answer is yes, it can. Paul, I know. Why don't you answer from your side, and then I'll jump in.
Yeah, so absolutely. So mortgage brokers can have their own Usherpa account. So it doesn't need to be integrated. You know, if you're just working as a sole entity, we can absolutely take care of you there. So absolutely, and you can partner with your real estate agents. Again, it's going to be that $10 a month for yourself and the realtor. But yes, absolutely, you can do it on our side for sure.
So from Sales Boomerang, we can work with anyone. We are, however, an enterprise solution. So just know that going into it, you will have to have a minimum number of records to make this make sense for you. And that's the best way I can explain it. And so depending on the size of your brokerage, if you have enough records, if you have a big enough team and you're producing enough opportunities to create a database, you should be thinking about at least 10,000 records will make sense. And so if you have that, absolutely, this will bring you that 24x ROI, and then you can integrate with Usherpa for sure. So the answer is yes there.
And even if you, Alex, even if you don't have the 10,000 yet, you sign up with Usherpa, you start bringing your agents' databases into it, and you'll get to 10,000 in about a month.
Yeah, exactly. Bang. Really, really quickly. Absolutely.
Well, that's exactly well said, Stephen. Well said. Great question. So that should answer Bobby's question. I see there's another question. So this will allow, say, a new LO to build and develop realtor relationships.
Absolutely.
Stephen, you'd be Dan, yeah, but Stephen will be the best to talk about this. What do you say to that, Stephen?
So I have a new LO on my team, and she just started in the business 10 months ago, maybe now. Wow. And so she moved over in May. And so when we sat down, I showed her kind of how we were going to approach some of the agents she already knew. And one of her very first agents, she's like, this guy owns a brokerage. If we get him, I get all the business. So we pitched it to him, and I still help. I still present to almost all the agents on the deal. We got his stuff plugged in June, at the end of June. She qualified for our production months, did $18 million in purchase business. She only had 3 refinances.
Wow. Well, there's your answer to that question. Love it. So the answer is yes. This is, by the way, having a technology like Usherpa, and having access to data like Sales Boomerang, it is an instant pipeline. Then grabbing the realtors and building this relationship and showing them the partnership, it is like building an instant pipeline. So I love the way you explained it, Stephen, with a real story. Next one, where do you go to verify what an agent's production actually is for the previous 12 months? Stephen, do you have that resource?
Yeah, I'll send it to you guys, and then Richard can send it out. I'll send you the one we use. But the other good news is if you don't want to pay for it, Your insurance agents probably have this already. Like if you have a Goosehead insurance agent use, they already have the software. Most of them do now because they didn't want their reps talking to real estate agents that are doing business. So title companies have it as well. So if you don't
Excellent.
want to spend the money, because it can be pretty expensive to do it on a nationwide basis or a statewide basis. So that's one way to do it for free.
Yes. Yep. Love that. And then we'll send out that resource. We have a couple of resources. We can send that out as well. So Richard, let's make note that that question came up. Next question. Can you explain the benefits between this and something like HomeBot? So great question.
That's a good question.
Yeah. So there's a huge difference between Sales Boomerang, Usherpa, and HomeBot. We actually have a great relationship with HomeBot. I'm sure Usherpa, you guys are in communication maybe and have some integrations with them or talking about it. So HomeBot focuses on the consumer-facing experience, meaning, hey, consumer, you should know what your house is worth and what you can do with the equity in your home, right? That is one piece of information. It's a very important piece of information, and HomeBot has done an amazing, phenomenal job making it look good and easy to interact with. What we have is a three-dimensional approach to the consumer and to their buying experience and to their qualifications and what is potentially most beneficial for them. And so it's an add-on, it's a plug-in to to what we're talking about today, not a standalone, not a stand apart. So it would be something that you would add on to this. So you would have Usherpa, Sales Boomerang, and HomeBot. It wouldn't be something where, hey, I got HomeBot, I don't need Usherpa, Sales Boomerang. It's an add-on together.
Yeah,
if you wanted to quantify that.
Yeah, it's definitely different information for the consumer, and it's really the power of it really is making sure that these alerts. Oftentimes the alerts are really good for the lender to just reach out to that borrower about it, as opposed to the HomeBot, which is just telling them about how much your value your house is worth or whatever. It's just different information entirely that can really benefit the borrower that you are controlling that conversation with them.
I think I'm probably the best one to answer this question. HomeBot's pretty, Sales Boomerang and Usherpa make you money.
All right, take it from the lender's mouth.
Love it.
So there's a great question on here. It's maybe I missed this, but it sounds like you're uploading the realtors database to Usherpa. How does Sales Boomerang plug into watching the realtors database in Usherpa? Great question. Wonderful question. It's exactly that. The realtors upload their data into Usherpa. We have an integration with Usherpa. That information comes to Sales Boomerang. We wrap it with our real-time intelligence, and then we track it just like we track the lender data. Same exact thing, same exact process. Because remember, we don't need social security numbers or date of births or any of that to do the magic that we do. So that information comes over and is tracked the exact same way we're doing it for Steven and all the other lenders.
Yeah, and our system is smart enough to know, and there's another question that kind of is along with this. Our system is smart enough to know whether it's coming from a realtor or coming from the lender databases. So when we have an alert that comes in that's coming from a realtor database, it goes to both the realtor and the lender will know that it's an actual alert that's coming out from the realtor's database. So everyone's kind of all in the same, everyone knows what's happening with these different things. And there's a distinguishing alert between the different alerts from the lender's databases versus the realtor's database, because the realtors have their own platform that they're in putting all that data in.
Yeah, and it's easy from the lender side. We just invite the realtor to set up the platform, and we don't ever have their database. Their database uploads, and we just get the alerts real time like they do. And then, of course, with our agents, we don't ever call the alert unless they tell us to or that we're okay to. So it's so like I can set up an agent, they upload their own database in under 10 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
And there's the other question is, how do you know if this was something that the lender put in or the realtor? Again, like Paul said, there's an identifier that both groups know if it's something that Steven and his team should be working on, or if it's something passed to the realtor. So that is very easy to label and see who it's coming from. You're charging. So here's some compliance concerns. Maybe this is where Steven, you can talk to a little bit, or if you want to.
Boo.
No. Yeah. So you're charging for the use, any other RESPA concerns? I don't know if that's something you can speak to or not.
We patched it out. I mean, we actually had a call, Steven and I had a call with our development staff and legal and everything. And we basically with all of the data that's coming in from Sales Boomerang, not all of this obviously is compliant to be transferring over to the real estate agent. So we kind of worked with the two legal teams, Sales Boomerang and Usherpa, to make sure that anything that we're transferring over, any information that we're informing the realtor about with these alerts is going to be compliant. So we've done a lot of work to make sure that that's 100% compliant.
Yeah, and it guys, remember, this platform does not run off of private information. It runs off of public information. So that's one of the nice things. And your clients can go to pre-screen opt-out or opt-out pre-screen, and it won't be in the alert system, just like everybody else, like normal. But yeah, we've got a pretty good compliance team, and they vetted it. And Usherpa and Sales Boomerang did a great job spending a lot of money on attorneys that use really long sentences to make sure that we were okay.
No doubt.
Great questions, though, guys. I know it's important, but that's definitely something that had to get vetted and complete. And you know, it's important that you guys know that. So great questions there. What else? I see it's very active. Everyone's still hanging out. You guys have the brains. Steven is answering questions here in detail. So fire away. There's very few things Steven isn't willing to talk about. So ask away. Same here as Paul. And you know what, Steven, I was jealous of you being at the bar earlier, but now I realize that you have to get in the car, which means you got to stop drinking. I'm staying in my house.
That is true. That is true. I do have to do some work still, but we could get back. Like they say, whenever I leave McGuire's at lunch, they say, "See you in 4 hours."
That's actually their slogan now.
That's right.
See you in 4 hours. All right, look at this. What do we got? Any more questions? I'm not seeing anything else come up, but I see a bunch of people still waiting for other people to ask questions. If you're still on, you're still hearing our voices, you're hearing the jokes we're making, you're here for a reason. What do you want to know? Ask us something. Maybe it has nothing to do with what we talked about. Maybe you want to know why, Steven, you guys, I know we had a crazy year last year, but you guys are starting this year off with a bang. You know, if you guys want to ask, you know, the secrets of how Steven, or maybe some insights as to how here's something that I don't think everyone knows. And you have an incredible tech stack. Like, this is so key for the question I'm about to ask. Okay.
Yeah.
So I've talked to banks and lenders and credit unions from across the country who have added from dozens to hundreds of people to fulfill the need of the demand. Steven, you shared something with me yesterday and you shared it with me before, but it didn't really click until you shared it yesterday. And since we have the time and we're here, you guys added how many bodies?
We tripled our volume to right under $2 billion this year. And we added 12 people.
That is efficiency. That is as efficient as you can get. All of you on the call can understand the math and profitability there. Tripled volume, added 12 bodies. That's efficiency. That's using every piece of technology you have at your fingertips and pushing. Let me tell you, anyone that's on, that's another technology company or just listening in, there's nobody better to have as a partner client like Steven, and there's many people like him, that pushes your company to do better. He forces us to think new ways. And you can see that adding 12 people, but tripling volume. So if anyone has questions there. Oh, there's another question that came in. Let's see, we're working, what's the question? I can't see. Oh, does it increase? What is the cost? Does it increase based on clients that you add? So if you're talking to if you're talking to us, we have a different pricing model than Usherpa does. Our pricing model is based on records under management. We call it RUM, a good thing to call it, right? RUM. So and then based on the alert type. So whatever number of alerts we deliver based on the alert type, that there's a price for that. So it just depends on how many records and how active your database is. We can get into those details. I know a bunch of people are getting free coffee from us for scheduling those demos. You want to learn more, we can give you the details there. Paul, do you want to talk about yours? Because I wasn't sure if they're asking for Sales Boomerang or you.
Yeah, so there's no really additional cost to integrate the Sales Boomerang platform into Usherpa. It's pretty much just it's good to go out of the box. The only thing, again, for compliance issues, we have to charge the real estate agent just to make sure that we're covering ourselves that way. But that's really the only thing on our end, that there's no other additional cost for that. It's just you pay for our platform and everything that comes with that. You pay for Sales Boomerang and all the alerts, and it all works seamlessly together.
Yep. Beautifully said.
Yeah, I would actually say there is no cost for Usherpa and Sales Boomerang. There's only return.
Right.
And so we just take out what you guys charge us from the return you're delivering to us, and we appreciate it.
And my great friend and mentor, Rene Rodriguez, said to me, he said, Alex, anytime somebody asks you about cost, you say, what's the cost of doing business with us, or what's the cost of not doing business with us?
Right.
So that's sort of piggybacking off what you're talking about, Stephen. Another question, which alerts besides credit pools provide new business opportunity for realtors to generate new listings and sales? I love that question. First of all, every single notification. I'm so glad somebody asked this question. Every single notification is going to give you a chance. Let me explain to you. There's this tunnel vision that realtors have that if it's not purchased, I don't care. Today, if you're on this call and you're still hearing my voice, today's the day you change the way you think about that. Every notification that is sent to the lender and you together, even if it's refi, is relevant to you. Why? Because if your lender, if Steven does the loan, you did a purchase 3 years ago, Steven does a refi today. That's 2 transactions. There's like a 60 or 70% chance the third transaction will happen with the same lender realtor partnership. So you want every single deal, refi or not, to go through the lender that you're sharing this database with, because when the purchase comes, and it will, guess who's getting the referral? You. So listing alerts are huge for you. You're like, why do I care about listing alerts? Well, 15% of them are for sale by owner. You're going to get those. Equity notifications. Why does that matter? Well, that's investment properties, right? That's move up purchases. That's summer homes, right? Any kind of life event, right? So somebody getting married or having kids, or, there's a death. Those are incredible pieces of information for the realtors, for you guys to have to generate new business. And the list goes on and on and on. But the truth is, every single alert, every single one, does not matter which one, you're going to hear from Steven and his team, and he's going to tell you, hey, there's an opportunity here. Seems like it could be refi. We're going to take great care of them. We want to thank you. And you as the realtor shouldn't be like, good, have fun, take care of them. You as the realtor should pick up the phone and say, hey, congratulations. I hear you're working with Steven again. So great. You're staying in a family. I got a gift in the mail for you to congratulate you on the refi, taking advantage of these great rates. It's awesome. By the way, if you have any questions about anything, you let me know. And guess what? You want to know what's crazy? When somebody does a refi, you know what they're doing? They're talking to their friends, coworkers, family members, neighbors. Yep. Somebody's doing a purchase. They're talking to friends, coworkers, family members, and neighbors. And so they're doing a refi. You call them to say thank you and congratulations. They go, oh, Paul, the realtor. Thanks for calling. My neighbor is actually planning to buy. Can I make it? Yes, of course you can make an introduction. So every alert is relevant, every single one of them. And that's how you build a database that sticks with you. They're happy that they did business with you instead of, oh, he's calling to sell me something. Imagine you call them not to sell something, just to say thank you. Hey, thanks. Congrats on working with Steven again. That's what you want. And I don't know if Steven or Paul has something to add.
Well said.
Yeah, I think that pretty much covers it. And from a legal standpoint, we've vetted which ones we actually can tell the real estate agent. So we basically, you don't have to worry about that. We've already done the heavy lifting on that side.
Is there any concern with duplicates in Usherpa or Sales Boomerang within one user's account across realtors' accounts, across lenders' accounts? Okay, it's a lovely question. But let us answer it this way. We have over 6 million, we're nearing 7 million records in our database. Less than, and Richard, you're on, if you could put it in chat, I believe it's less than 2%. Less than 2% of every record in our database exists in more than one database, right? So 2%. So there's a 2% chance that your record may exist in another database. But it's that small.
Well, I think also, Alex, they were talking about if you have a database in Usherpa and then the realtor uploads their database as well, and that person resides in both, what happens? And I'll just take that second part because you did a good job on the first. The second part is the database the realtor uploads is separate from yours. So there is a chance that you could have a dupe. But as the lender, when you get the Sales Boomerang alert in Usherpa, you will see both alerts, and the one from the realtor's database is clearly identified from the realtor. The one that's from yours is from yours, and clearly you're going to call the agent and get on that deal because it's a really active lead.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. So it's and in regards to like alerting the borrower and things like that, when those alerts happen, our system is it really can only send out one email to that borrower. So it's never going to have any duplicate marketing going out either. So it's like Steve said, it's an alert to the real estate agent. The lender might get 2 alerts because it's in both of the databases. But again, like Steve said, you want to call the realtor because that's more important to make sure that everyone is on the same page about what's going on in that transaction. So yeah, it makes it pretty easy.
Now, your Sherpa does have the ability to dedupe your own database. So if I upload a database into my current database, it will get rid of all the duplicates and only leave the new ones. And that's same for the real estate agent. So we tell our realtors, if they don't use the Zapier connection or the auto feed, just keep uploading your database and it'll dedupe out the ones that aren't new.
Correct. Yeah.
Beautiful. I got to say, this is one of the most active audiences we've ever had a pleasure of working with. Love the questions. And I have to attribute this to you, Stephen. We said you're not going to be available and everybody wants to ask questions. So I've been on a lot of these webinars and I haven't seen 40 questions like this thrown at us. So it's got to be you and the bar experience.
Well, that's what happens when I'm hanging out with my kids.
It's true story. Yes, we have a picture with us standing next to you, and that's what we look like. Besides the beards.
I think everybody's staying on because they love that picture of Paul's dog behind his right shoulder.
I mean, he's pretty cute, and
Is that a corgi?
It is. Yep.
That dog is actually taller than you, Paul.
Yeah, I know. Believe it or not. There we go. We go.
I love it. Here it is.
I love it.
All right, look, I'm not seeing any more questions come in. I still see a bunch of people hanging out, which means we're just super entertaining. And look, we're going to hang. We said we'll be here till 3. We have another 10 minutes. So throw out questions, funny comments, jokes. You want to tell us something?
Super Bowl predictions. Who knows?
Super Bowl predictions. Oh, I love it.
Wait, there's a Super Bowl?
Yeah, apparently.
Yeah.
Not really.
Not in it again.
Team, not for our teams, but not for a while.
Super Bowl prediction. I'll go first. Well, okay. I got to change my prediction since Kansas City fan instantly posted something.
Yeah. No. I'll tell you what. I got a prediction.
Okay, go for it.
Heads in the coin toss. Going big heads. Big time heads on the prop bet on the coin toss.
That's solid.
Yeah.
Interesting. So the person that wins the coin toss.
Yeah, so just heads or tails. Best odds you can bet on in the Super Bowl, I think.
Well, we're doing a COVID-friendly Super Bowl party with social distancing and like 12 people. And we have a whole deal where everybody brings $20 and you got a whole list of prop bets and regular bets you fill out beforehand. And then whoever gets the most takes the prop.
I love it.
I'm thinking Kansas City inches it out. That's my thought. They inch it out. Big fight, inch it out at the end. My
Tampa
5-year-old
Tampa Bay by 47.
Tampa Bay by wow. Well, there's my 5-year-old son said his prediction for the Super Bowl is 33-38 Kansas City. Can't compete against a 5-year-old and their intuition. So that's a good one.
Take a picture of that, Abigail, and see if that comes true.
Yes. That's perfect. We have another question. All right, Jeffrey, let's see what you got. I scheduled a demo, but can you elaborate on how this system can help a mortgage broker? I work in an office that is solely mortgage brokers. We also have ABAs for
counseling.
Okay, I was like, is that concealing counseling? I'm far away as my computer's down here for the screen part, so I can look straight at you. And realtors. So it works the same way for everyone, Jeffrey. It really is. It's just about when it comes to, so Usherpa as a standalone solution can help you tomorrow, right? That's they're designed to help anyone that wants this automated CRM and marketing automation that they have in place. With Sales Boomerang, we work with anyone too, but it just makes sense when you have enough records, because you want to be able to generate. Remember, we showed you that number, 13% of your database. Well, that's 13% when you have a sizable database. If you have 100 people, it's a much less chance that you're going to create an opportunity. It's going to be 1, 2, 3%. But when you start getting into the 5, 6, 10, 15,000 records, that's when you can get to that 10% and up of your database triggering every single month. But it all works the exact same way. The technologies are integrated together. We have a handshake. The systems communicate automatically. There's no manual process. So it would work the same for small or large organizations. It's just, does it make financial sense for you to start if you only have 500 records? And that's a question you can answer for yourself. I'll give you an example. We have some small, in the past, they've all gotten much larger now, but in the past we had some smaller groups that would have an average loan amount of 500,000. Well, then, yeah, of course, even if you produce 10 opportunities and you close 20 or 30% of them, you've paid for the system for the whole year. So yes, the answer is yes, but you just have to make sure it makes financial sense for you if you have a small number of records. That's on our side. I don't know if you have anything, Paul.
And Jeff, on that, if you have your mortgage brokers all kind of in one office over there, you can have them all under one umbrella.
Yep.
If you need to, as far as Usherpa goes. So I mean, you can connect basically everybody's accounts. We can connect with your loan origination system. We can do all of that stuff for you, even if you just are on the broker side. And if each individual broker has their own way of, let's say, advertising themselves, they have their own DBAs, they have their own, they might have their own way of advertising themselves. We can accommodate for all of that, but then keep everybody all in one umbrella. It just depends. I mean, it's just worth having a conversation about how you do business and looking at, how we can get everybody on and it makes sense for everybody, because we can certainly take you all and figure out what makes sense for you.
Love it. Okay. Well, look, we'll give everybody their 5 minutes back. Unless you want to hear me and Paul and Steven shoot the shit a little bit longer. But you guys were an amazing audience. Paul, thank you so much. This was great. This was really your and Steven's kind of brainchild of automating it. Steven, thank you for pushing us and always inspiring us to do better with what we're putting together. So, and the great work that you're doing for your team and the industry. So thank you for that. And again, I believe, here's my prediction for this industry 2021. I think we're going to have a stronger year this year than we did in 2020. So let's make that a reality and celebrate that towards the end of the year. So cheers to everyone. And thank you for all the questions and involvement. Oh, wait a second. Bobby has the last question. Is there an LOS or POS that Usherpa works with best?
I wouldn't say best. We work with a lot of them. So it kind of depends. Really, I think it depends on your company and how that LOS can help you better and we can integrate with that particular one. So it just depends on you as a company and that particular LOS. We can integrate with all of those. So
yeah, we're on Lending
tell 'em.
QB. We're Lending QB, and we don't have to do anything. I've got it set up to where if you do a TBD application on a person that's looking to purchase, it puts them in the TBD campaign and you Sherpa automatically. If they're below a 580, it puts them in the credit repair campaign, and it's talking. All of our softwares are bi-directional, and Usherpa and Sales Boomerang's integration with Lending QB is fantastic. And I know it's just as good with Encompass, because I think I did a call the other day for an Encompass
and
user.
if you're not an Encompass fan, Bobby, it looks like LQB is probably the easiest loan origination system for us to work with. I mean, we've got companies of over 50 loan officers. We've got them up and running in 2 weeks at most. So it's super simple.
And so
Lending QB, a good one.
So Bobby, call Lending QB and say Steven sent you.
Yeah, exactly.
Cool.
All right.
This was great, guys. Thanks everyone.